Starting a little bit late today. It is 7:30 p.m. and the gym closes at 11. So only 3.5 hour workout. Not long enough. Yeah, really. Not long enough for me. We usually need about 4 hours to get everything in. Thank God I don't have a real job. This is my job. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys this dope shirt. Check that out. Bam! Oops, missed the frame. Super Saiyan. Saiyan shirt. Pretty cool. I might start selling these. Found a distributor, so pretty cool. Anyways, time to hit legs, arms, delts, and some hit training for today. Keep you guys updated on the film. GHRs are a lovely warm-up prior to any leg day work. A GHR is a glute ham raise machine. If you guys don't have access to this, just do some leg curls prior to your leg work. I feel like hamstrings are often overlooked, and this is a great way to start the day. Now, in between my GHR sessions, I'm running over and doing lateral raises. I think I did about 5 sets of 12, and getting any delt work in between sets is a major priority of mine to help increase more delt volume. And active rest in between any sets of any exercise, I might throw in some delt work. This is the final set of my GHRs. Got a 20 kilo plate. As you can see, I'm having trouble locking my hips out. It's a bit heavy and I was pretty fatigued at this point. I think it's about the 4th or 5th set. So I'm struggling to pull it back up. But I am initiating, thanks Jamie, the movement with my hips and my hamstrings. Then I'll burn out completely with body weight. As you can see, it's much easier to keep a completely vertical torso down to knee position. And I'm totally burning out here. And then from there, I'm gonna do a bent hip position and try and get a full contraction in my hamstrings, pulling backwards. That looks pretty awkward, but it's a great way to burn out those hammies. So one way to get a nasty pump post hammies for your quads is to do hack squat partials. As you can see, I'm doing 168 reps here. The last 3 I'll explain in a second. And I'm doing partials as opposed to full range of motion because I get much better tension specifically on the quads doing partials rather than full range of motion. Tends to bring more glutes and hammies into the movement. Now in between all of these sets, I'm doing calf raises and I'm also doing isometric contractions. I'm trying to hold about 10 very quick contractions, and then I'm doing 5 to 6 second squeezes and holding the contraction as long as possible. This is my rest period, and then I'll go directly back into the next set. So the set that you saw there was the 180 for 20 reps. I'm about to hop on the 200 for 10 reps. And again, the reason I'm doing partials as opposed to full range is because if I'm doing full range, I found that I really get a lot of hamstring involvement and especially glutes. And I'm just trying to target quads here. So I'll hit hammies later. If you're trying to do one movement to target everything, full range of motion is ideal. If you're gonna target pieces of your legs into different movements, might as well just put as much attention as possible where you're targeting. So what you see here are slow negatives. These are the last 3 sets that I'm doing. I'm only using 100 kg because I'm doing the full range of motion, and getting the weight off from the bottom is the most difficult part. If I had someone to help spot me, then I would load this much heavier, but I can only do about 100 kg full range of motion after those 150 reps. So all I'm trying to do is slow down the movement on the way down, which is the eccentric or negative portion of the lift. Trying to slow it down as long as possible. There's been a lot of research to prove that negatives help both strength and hypertrophy in the long run. There's a lot more metabolic stress. There's a lot more mechanical tension. And these are things that you need for your muscles to adapt and to hypertrophy. So I'm going heavy, extremely heavy at first to help stimulate muscle protein synthesis, and then I'm really focusing on these negatives to increase metabolic stress. And you might be wondering about this ridiculous 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 method. This is something I picked up from Chris Gethin. It is his DTP, Dramatic Transformation Principle style of training, and it's something I've been doing the past couple years. I find it works really well. Shout out to Chris, thank you for that. Tired. That was 150 reps plus 3 sets of 6. Pretty fatigued, but still got a little bit more hamstrings to do than arms and delts, than cardio. Honestly, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna film leg extensions because I don't have a tripod yet, and there's not really anywhere to set the camera up, so I'm just gonna hold it down, face my legs, just going for 5 sets of 20, going for peak contraction, mildly slow negatives, but I'm pretty fatigued. Just trying to get contractions towards my upper, towards the hip. Is that origin or insert? I think origin. Trying to go for the origin. I find that, thanks to my buddy telling me this, leaning the seat back as far as possible and then almost being laying down, ideally, really can help target that upper quad area. And despite what research says about focusing in on specific parts of different muscle groups, I find that actually the contraction is in my upper quad, so if I feel it there, that's what I'm gonna do, despite what research says. So this is anecdotal evidence. You guys give it a try and let me know. Post in the comments below. I'll show just one set. So I'm trying to feel it up here. I just want to make it clear that after that last set of 33 for 20, those are drop sets. So immediately I went into the 27 for 6, and then 21 for 6, and 15 for 12. Now, each of the 6 reps in that last 12 were all 6-second negatives on every rep. So I'm really trying to slow down the negative like we were doing for the hack squats. Pretty fatigued. Pretty dead, but you guys get the point. Give it a try, let me know. On to the next exercise after I finish these 3 more sets. Legs are pretty vascular right now after that pump. 5 sets of 20, and then did these mild sets of just 50 reps, trying to just pump the area. And as you can tell, I think it worked. Oh my god, it hurts. Oh, I can't really tell from earlier, but maybe in the video you'll be able to tell. I don't think you can see the veins as much as there are. It's pretty ridiculous. Come on, autofocus, what are you doing? I feel like Brant Warren. Not really, he's a monster. So check out these sick hammer strength, shrug machine, stiff leg deadlifts. I don't even know what to call them. My buddy Jagurtha showed me this exercise. I had seen it before in a couple videos online, but one thing I'd like to point out is that if a machine has a specific use, but you can find another way to use it that helps you target a muscle group better than other exercises you can do, it doesn't really matter what the machine is for, as long as you are using it the way that you intend. It doesn't matter how the manufacturer's intended for it to be used, but if you're finding a way to use it properly and get great contractions doing some other exercise, it doesn't really matter. And people in the gym will look at you like, what the hell is going on? But you can teach them a thing or two, because if you know what you're doing, then you're good to go. So one thing I'd like to point out with this exercise is that you want to utilize your hip hinge. Everyone's always talking about hip hinge for squat and deadlift, but if you're doing another movement that recreates those, you're still going to want to activate your posterior chain. So maintain a nice tight core, brace those abs, keep your back flat, push your butt back as hard as you can, and lean back with your heels. The great thing about doing an exercise like this is you're locked into place, and so you can really lean back. You can put almost all the tension on your heels and push your butt back into the pad behind you, and you know you're hip hinging as hard as possible. One thing you can also do is make sure you're squeezing your glutes on the way up. On the way down, you want to stretch your hamstrings as hard and long as possible. Make sure you get real good tension in there. Maybe a couple second hold at the bottom is even ideal. And then squeezing glutes up again to initiate the movement. You just don't want to be pulling with your back. You want to be thinking that your hips are coming through, like someone's got a rope around your butt and pulling it forward. And that's all I think of when I'm rocking this exercise. Give it a try. This is another unique exercise you might not have seen before, and it's something I came up with out of necessity because I didn't have a seated calf raise at my gym, and I've tried it on a Smith machine with the barbell, but that really hurts my knees. Even trying to use a pad, it's just awkward. So I tried it on the leg extension. It feels fantastic. It's great, actually. Showed a lot of friends and they love it as well. It's a really good movement. You can either do it one-legged or two-legged. It's great. And ideally, you want to get strong contractions at the top and let them down slowly as possible. But I do like to do really high reps for these. On this day I did 300, and that was the end of the leg portion of my workout. Remember, this is only part 1 of 6 days out. So I still had to do arms and delts. I'll be making a part 2 video coming up in the next couple days. But as for now, just finishing legs up right now. And these are beastly to help out with calves. I like to do these and then go do some standing calf raises on with the barbell, or on leg press. Anyways, that'll wrap up 6 days out. Check out part 2 coming up later.